Hi, everybody, and welcome to this Friday's edition of The Lounge. Are you guys all so excited? I see a number of you jumped on right away. People are excited, and for good reason. There's a lot going on The Lounge tonight, and we not only have our Lounge special crew, but we have our lovely guests from last week jumping on in, and we're going to talk to you about that surprise coming up very soon. And as you know, we have our lovely special intuitive co-host who, according to the ladies, it's very easy on the eyes. Mike, the lovely intuitive technologist. We've got some emails talking about Mike. So ladies, brace yourselves. The beard is on tonight. All right. So Maria, happy Friday. Looking 8 mg. I don't know what that means. 8 milligrams. I'm not sure. You can let me know. Lisa, good to see you. Hi, Mars. It's not about that. What's it about? Mercury. It's about the eclipse. We know that about tonight. I'm hoping Mike and I can talk about that. Oops, looking forward to The Lounge. All right. I'm glad you weren't looking forward to 8 milligrams. Not really sure what that is. Ani M, what's up? Good to see you here, Ani M. I always love seeing you on The Lounge. Great to see you guys. So, yeah. So do you guys know that tonight is a very special night? Okay. The energies are opening in a grand way, what I call the grand conjunction, which probably is like an astrological term. I'm just using it for myself because the portals are opening, dimensions are opening, plus the intuitive portals are opening. So if you were here last week and you had a chance to listen to Scott, I call him, and some of his clients call him the Energetic Plumber, but he is an intuitive energy healer, an amazing, amazing guy. And he'll tell you that he helps with that expansion of our field inside, all of those things that we need to move forward inside and move that energy around. We can understand it intellectually, but are we moving it in our body so that we can level up in our lives and take that next step and like break that ceiling, you know, whether that's in your career, your relationship, if you want to move, if you want to create your dream life. You have a ceiling right now that you might not be able to like move past. You're like, okay, I have success, but I want my dream life. I want to be able to make it happen. And guess what, people? It's not too late. You're not too old. You have a lot of energy. It's not about money, not about time. It's about energy. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We have a lovely, lovely lady, Dr. Tiffany Nguyen, coming on to talk to us about, she's like, this is just amazing to me. She is not only a spiritual mentor, she's also a doctor of pharmacy. Since when have you ever seen those two married together, science and spirit? I love talking about that. She also has a little intuitive gift we're going to talk about, and we may be bringing out some vocal tools tonight. Maybe. I'm going to tease you guys so you stay on. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on our lovely co-host for the second time in a row on season 2.0 of The Lounge, Mike, the intuitive technologist. What up?
Hello. How are you?
I
Mike here.
For you. Hi, Mike.
Thank you. Hi.
I know.
Thank you for that introduction.
Did you love it?
Yes, I was laughing, and I was hoping it wasn't showing me laughing as you were describing this.
Well, no,
but yeah, happy to be here. Thanks for having me again.
You're welcome. I did see you smiling backstage, but they didn't see you smile, but I did.
Yes.
So I knew that.
A lot of goofy faces.
I knew you weren't mad at me for saying that, you know, all those things. They were compliments. They were compliments.
I'll take it. I'll take what I can get.
Well, we loved seeing
So
you as co-hosting the lounge last week, and we are loving having you on tonight. And what'd you think about the lounge last week? What was your favorite part of the lounge? And do you want to recap a little bit of what we did and what we're doing tonight?
sure. I thought it was really fun. It was nice after being away from the lounge for a while to kick off this next round of events. So Scott Clover, intuitive energy healer, we kept calling him the energetic plumber. And actually, as I recall, we at one point we called him the energetic dentist because he was mentioning how clearing your energy, you should go deep every 6 months, like getting a teeth cleaning. And I think some people wanted to call him the intuitive garbage disposal because people
Oh
were getting
God.
rid of a lot of energetic things. He's was mentioning a lot of these sessions where people hold on to things, and again, his focus comes from the somatic healing and energy field, so the body energy and how it flows. And he talked about his ability to pinpoint specific areas and very often to get impressions about the causes, the root issues, and sometimes very specific items about maybe something happened to you in your life, and he gets very detail specific. In a way, it's almost kind of like a lot of your mediumship readings, except you seem to be super accurate, and it seems to be a different source.
Yeah, it's more like I consider myself like the hermit in the tarot. I take that light and I shine it on what's going on, and then I'm like, okay, somebody else has to deal with it because so it's like I could say, hey, these are the reasons you're blocked. This is what's coming through from spirit. This is what you need to change. This is how you need to transform, and I could get you to understand that shift intellectually and emotionally, but it doesn't mean that's going to move in the body. And I need somebody like Scott to say, hey, and I believe that if you're going to see Scott, the energetic plumber, like you have to be ready. You have to be done. You have to be ready to like really change your life. And I believe you have to be at like kind of hitting that bottom where you're really willing to open the door to something new. Not that like you just want it. You have to be willing to be ready. And I don't know. For me, I had the session, which is like, I didn't go out looking for you guys. Like, I've known you for like over 12 years.
Yeah,
And
long
it
time.
just so, yeah, it just so happened that I was doing my own work. And I was really, I think, struggling to move that energy on my own. And I think it would have taken me like twice or three times the amount of time to do it on my own by processing it in a normal fashion. And I think I think when we're doing our work and we're doing that transformational work, I think we align with the things that we need at the right time that we need to like show up. And you kind of just reached out and we're like, hey, I love the lounge and I have this great guest for you. And I'm like, cool. Like I didn't think anything of it. And then, a lot of our guests, they'll send me their book or they'll, to learn about them prior. And I talked to Scott and he's like, yeah, before you get on talk about my work, he's like, it's kind of not like anything you've experienced before. And I'm like thinking, okay, I know a lot of intuitives, a lot of mediums. I don't know what I haven't experienced.
Yeah,
I've had
every
shamans.
modality it seems like.
Yeah, every modality. I have shamans, I had energy work. So he's like, I really want you to try, before you talk about my session. I'm like, okay. So I braced myself for a day of work. And I'm like, okay, so just gonna give me information and I'm gonna take it and write it down or whatever. And it was not like anything that I had expected. And it was exactly what I needed during my transformational journey. And not only did I talk to him once, but he's like, Marisa, when you have this work done, these things might happen. Just text me the next day. And I'm not somebody that's like, I don't know, gonna be like, oh yeah, I need you again. You know what I mean? But he's like, no, just do it. Just text. I feel weird. Like he's like, no. And then,
Yeah.
he's like, this is what's gonna happen. And he was so willing to work with me because once he moved that energy, I was like a live wire. Like I was not grounded. Like I was just kind of like things were moving and shifting. And with other practitioners, what I've experienced is that because I'm a medium, I go to places where they don't know how to guide me. And they're like, oh my God, I've never seen this before.
Oh,
Like, so that makes me feel even more scared and more unstable because they don't know what to do with me. And like, I trusted Scott because I knew that during that session, he knew exactly, no matter where I went in the mediumship or the intuition, like he knew exactly how to ground me. And I felt like totally safe knowing that he had my back. You know what I mean? Where other people said that they could start off this like type of work and then I'm left like up there with people not knowing
drifting in
what to do.
space.
Yeah, that's
And you
scary.
know what? It sounds like there might be a difference between people who haven't really connected to their body energy, and I would imagine that people that are more on the intuitive side or have already done a lot of the work, they probably connect to their energy very quickly. I know for me, I get a lot of visuals, and my interpretation's almost too fast with that, where I need to like calm that down or shut that down. And I would imagine that in Scott's experience, I guess we could just ask him. But in
Yeah,
his experience, he probably notices that some people connect right away, and some people he has to ease into that mode.
exactly. And what I found, and I talked to one of my other clients today that actually had a session with him also. And she's like, what really got me, she's like, he would say, okay, move your imagination into your body and move over to this section of your body and like imagine a little like marker there. And I like this happened with me, it happened with her. I moved it over there and he's like, exactly, that's where it is. And we're like, what? Like, how do you know that's like I just moved my imagination from one place to another? Like, who are you? Like, are you playing marbles inside my body? Like, what's going on? It was just amazing, like that he was able to like be in that moment with you when you were journeying through your body experience. And I know for me and a lot of other intuitives and a lot of other mediums and people who I know that are very talented in this field and some are famous, they did their whole career without ever going into their body because of they're great mediums and great intuitives because they know how to disconnect and that's what they knew how to do. And so how much more
Yeah,
powerful could you be when you're balanced and grounded? I had no idea I had to come back home to my body until I couldn't stop replaying certain cycles in my life. You know what I mean?
that makes
So
sense. That makes a lot of sense.
yeah. So I want to bring on Scott too, because we had a contest last week, right? Do you want to tell everybody about the
Yes, we
contest?
did. Yeah,
Okay.
so originally the contest was to give away a free session with Scott Clover, intuitive energy healer. And in the excitement of everything, Scott said, "You know what? I'm going to add another one. We're going to give away 2 free sessions."
That was
So,
so
we're going to talk
generous.
about that. Yes, that was
Yeah.
really nice. 'Cause they're not short sessions. I think the first ones are over an hour long
Yeah.
oftentimes. And,
Yeah.
it's and you get those questions about how was your high school? That's
Yeah,
you
exactly.
got to do the quick survey so that he could feel out how he kind of is sensing how it feels in your body as he asks these questions. So, they can be somewhat in depth. So, yeah, there's the drawing. Apparently the winners will be announced at the end of this session.
Yes.
And yeah, can we bring Scott on?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's bring Scott on and get excited. Hey, Scott, how are you?
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Nice to see
Are
you
you
both.
are you excited to be back on the lounge?
I'm back on the lounge 2 weeks in a
It's
row.
Awesome.
Friday night. Got to be
Friday
on the
I
night.
lounge.
know. I know. So you have picked out your winners. We got word from that today, and we're very excited to announce that. And what do people have to do to be prepared for a session with you, even if not just the winners, but anyone who wants to have a session with you? Where should they be at the point in time in their life, or what would be best for a person looking to work with you? What would be best for them to be at the space that they're in?
Well, one of the things we do at the beginning is we set an intention. So either they set the intention and saying, "Oh, Scott, I've heard about your work through so and so," because I'm mostly word of mouth, and I'd like to work on this specific pattern, or I'd like to work on my divorce, or I'd like to work on the way I, have a relationship with my parents, and it could be better than it has been historically. So whatever that intention is, and if not, people say, "I just heard my friend liked your work, and so I'm just showing up for you." And then that's when I read the body and scan and start sort of interacting with the client and saying, "Oh, you have coagulated or stuck energy in certain parts of your body." And then I have technologies and energy exercises and visualizations that we can do to clear those energies. So people come to me for several different reasons. One is not just trauma release, but also, which I enjoy and appreciate when clients come to me for that, because they have to be vulnerable, and they need to lean into it a little bit. As we talked about, they need to accept the existing reality of what happened to them, and then we can look at it more realistically, and then the solution can arrive a lot more freely when you look at something for what it actually is, not what you wish or wanted it to be or wish it didn't happen. The issue is that it did happen, and your body has to figure out a way to regulate that, and that's where I come in.
Awesome.
Or
Well,
you're creative and you're trying to create something, or you have writer's block and you want to express yourself either more grandiosely or more authentically. That's the other aspect of my work that I really enjoy, is helping creatives be more themselves and be more self-expressive in what they're trying to connect to the world and what they want to bring out to the world and what they want the world to see about them or their work. So a lot
Scott,
of
I'm
times
gonna interrupt you here.
bigger, their art is bigger than their ability to shine it out into the world. And I can help harmonize people with that. Yeah.
Awesome.
Scott, what are some of
Awesome.
the artists that you have worked with? What kind of fields or practices have they done?
Oh, painters, writers. I live in Manhattan, so there's a lot of artistic people. Definitely painters, authors, writers, some singers that have had, they go to a big audition and they choke or their throat
Oh,
tightens
geez.
up. That's a throat chakra issue. And, you know, the second and the fifth chakra in my work are intrinsically linked. So if we help someone with their fifth chakra, we're going to be working also on their second and vice versa. So it
Wow.
helps for, and the throat chakra is also where artists, it helps them express themselves. So if that can be more universal, meaning express it backwards and clear out some of the other people's stuff that accumulates to the back of their chakras. Because a lot of us intuitive people go through our whole lives, and if you scrub your chakras clean, you're really only doing the front. And I really advocate in my work to see the chakras as a 360, almost a hologram, and make sure the back is just as clean, if not more clean than the front, because it's the judgment of other people that accumulates back there. So
Get
it's
that
awesome.
plunger.
to clean off.
Yeah, get the plunger. Get the energetic plumber.
This is
to come
all
in.
plumbing infrastructure.
Yes. Well,
Or a
we're going to
squeegee.
be we're going to be announcing the winners after we interview our special guests coming up soon. And if you are a winner, please go to scottclover.com/contact to let them know. We'll be in touch with you as well. And if you want to sign up for Scott's newsletter, please go to scottclover.com/contact to stay connected to Scott, his website, his work, what he does. He'd be very appreciative if you are a viewer of the lounge, if you'd sign up to receive news from him too. So thank you, Scott.
And there's a link to my podcast on there.
Right,
I have 2
here.
seasons. Yeah, I have 2 seasons of the Intuitive Energy podcast, it's called. And I talk about intuitive energy, how it impacts us as individuals and as sort of the community at large.
Awesome.
So,
well, we'll be seeing you later on the
soon.
show. Yes, season 3 coming soon. We're very
It was
excited.
nice to see you too.
It was nice to see
Great
you.
to
We'll be
see
back.
you.
So stay tuned. We'll be back to come back for you to announce the winners
At
right
the
after
end.
we.
Sure. Thanks for having me on.
Okay. Bye. Well, how exciting
And
is
that
that,
reminds
Mike?
me, it's really exciting. And actually, it was really fun to see the comments, because to enter into that giveaway, you had to talk about what a resource moment was. And so, as Scott described it last week, it was a positive memory that you use to energetically connect to. And that's one of the things that he works on, oftentimes combining that with a negative feeling and seeing how they sort of neutralize each other out. So we had a lot of fun responses. We could probably talk about that when we bring him back on. It was really fun to see that you can go back to the lounge and read all the comments in the Facebook post, and people were getting vivid descriptions. And I got to be honest, about 90% of it was being at the beach. So there must be a lot of
I did see that.
Jersey Shore area represent, a lot of good memories.
Yep.
Yeah.
I saw that too. I saw a lot of creative ones too, but I did see a majority, like 80% of walking through the beach, which nothing wrong with that. But there were some interesting ones, some creative ones as well.
Yeah, painting was one of them. I thought that was
Yes.
interesting because it was creativity bringing healing.
Yeah, I love that. I love that too. Painting and people having scents of like lavender and different types of things that their resource moments. So awesome. Well, I can't wait to find out who the winners are. I know you're excited about it. And we'll be doing that after our interview. But right now, we're going to be bringing on our special guest for the night. Her name is Dr. Tiffany Nguyen. And I'm going to just tell you a little bit about her. She is a spiritual life coach who helps busy professionals and sensitive high achievers, I know that for myself, reconnect to their truths and live authentically. She combines practicality and spiritual wisdom to guide people toward clarity and confidence in who they are, leading them to inner peace and happiness. With her analytical brain and her intuitive tarot reading skill, I told you guys this was coming up, Tiffany brings a unique approach to one's self-transformation journey. And our show, Season 2.0, is all about transformation. Her articles have appeared on the Elephant Journal, Thrive Global, Purpose Fairy, and McGill Media. She's been featured on several podcasts: Raise the Vibe, Everyday Perspective, Arise and Thrive, Last First Date, and many more. Let's give a warm welcome to the lounge. Let's give our virtual claps to Dr. Tiffany Nguyen. How are you?
Thank you for having Marisa for
Hello.
having me. Hello, Mike. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So how are you doing tonight? Did you enjoy our little introductory session with our intuitive energy healer that came on last week?
Yeah, that was fantastic. I'm also an intuitive, so I also
Yeah.
got like all kind of reading under the sun already. So
Oh
if
my
you
God.
ever get if you ever get energy healer, yeah, that's needed. Because just like I think it's getting more and more to the mainstream because I also work full time in the medical field, and like something like Reiki and a lot of shamanic healing are also getting into the mainstream and getting accepted into like big hospital, especially for cancer treatment. So
yes,
so
and you're a doctor of pharmacy, right?
yes.
Does that mean like is that I mean I've heard the word pharmacist and it has doctor of pharmacy. So are they the same thing?
Depending the country, in the US, yes, most of later generation all require a doctorate degree to work as a pharmacist. But if you graduate, I think before 90 something, then you get grandfather in and you have a bachelor degree, so you get grandfather into with a pharmacist. But most of after the 90 something, then you require to have a doctorate degree.
So are you
Okay.
when you doctor of pharmacy, what is your actual work that you do as a scientist? And then we'll get into your intuitive work, but what do you do as a doctor of pharmacy?
So I work as a pharmacist. So my current work right now, I work in the pharmacy inside of mental health clinics. So I'm partnering with them. And so to helping people to keep on track of their medications and consult with doctor and therapists about their treatment. And then just a lot of things going on. So not only the mental health, but the physical health, a lot of conditions, and to try to keep people healthy. And you need your health if you want to work on anything. If you want to try to figure out your life, you need your health with you. So I guess I'm a healer through and through. I mean, on my day job, I'll be working on physical health. And on my night job, I will be working on the emotional, spiritual side for the health. So
Yeah.
360 full package.
Full package.
I think what's interesting is I was just gonna say you're working with your brain a lot and you're being very analytical, as you said. But then you are also considering people's psychological condition, and it seems like in your work it's a nice counterbalance because you're working on people's sort of life path and emotions too. So you have, like you said, this 360 perspective.
Yeah, so it's quite challenging to do that in the day job in the mental health clinic. Depend on most people's conditions, but a mental illness is almost like a sickness of the brain. And if you want like on a journey of like healing, recovering, then do actual a lot of transformation, first you need like a certain level of self-awareness first. Now, if you have a debilitating mental illness, you probably don't have that level of awareness to, unfortunately, to go forward with that true transformation. And that unfortunate. But it's just a sickness of the brain, and we just have to treat just like we treat any kind of sickness. We have to make effort, make time for it, and to treat it like any other one. Like if you're treating blood pressure or diabetes, you just always have to manage and control the disease states and going forward.
Yeah, I have a controversial question, and I have to ask this question. Now, there's a fine line between intuitive sensitivity and mental illness, right? So a lot of people that are highly sensitive that connect with spirit may experience that as extreme anxiety. or they have trauma, right? And their nervous system goes into what they call a dorsal state or a shutdown or a depression, right? Or people, I mean, chemically, yes, there is, I believe, yes, there are debilitating conditions such as clinical depression and clinical anxiety. But it's like there are people that I think that there's not that middleman somewhere, woman that's aware to say, hey, this person really isn't mentally ill. They're highly sensitive, right? Or people that are, schizophrenic. There is true schizophrenia, but there's also people who are really talking to spirit that when they go to their psychiatrist, they're prescribing them antipsychotics and a bunch of benzos, right? To like numb them out. So like, where is that line for you? Where do you, what do you think of that? And how can people be safe when they're going to a mental health professional and they're really experiencing an intuitive gift? And then, because I could tell you, it happened to me. I was having a lot of anxiety in my life. And I went into a professional's office who was a psychiatrist, right? This was like 20 years ago. And he said, "What do you do for a living?" And I said, "I'm a medical intuitive. I'm a medium." And right away he said, "I'm going to prescribe you all these." I said, "Are you telling me you're going to prescribe me that medication of what I do for a job?" He said, "Absolutely." I said, and luckily I'm not one of those people that's like, "Oh, I'm going to just let this." I said, "I will see you later," and left his office. I'm like, because I do what I do. And it's like, but imagine the amount of people that are prescribed medication that are really going through a transformative process and they need to, like, where is that for you? I know that's such a deep and controversial line and such a thin line. What are your thoughts on that?
It is indeed a blurry line, but I have to say people need to, first of all, have certain level of awareness, like I said, so they have to know themselves a little bit. So a lot of the mental illness. So first I have to say, as a doctor of pharmacy, I do not diagnose, but in medical general knowledge. So to diagnose a mental illness, there is criteria that they have to meet. It's not only just seeing things that you immediately get, diagnosed as schizophrenia or have a schizoaffective disorder. So there are a variety of criteria that they have to meet, typically 4 or 5, and depend on the level of severity. And so mental illness, a lot of things like sometimes get triggered by the trauma. It's almost like we get predisposed in our genetic makeup to like more prone to develop certain kind of illness, just like we were more prone to get like blood pressure, diabetes, or Alzheimer if we have relatives have those. But then the environment also. So there's this almost like a secret saying in our field is like, so a genetic is like nature loaded the gun, and nurture, the environment, is the one that take the shot. So
Okay.
So you can be predisposed to something, but you're not necessarily going to develop that kind of illness. Now, when sometimes environment, when you have trauma trigger, so that a lot of times that happens to people that go into have traumatic response, which is PTSD, and then they later on develop depression and a lot of like coping mechanism, like personality disorders. A lot of things come up out of the unhealed trauma if they don't deal with it correctly. But regarding your question regarding intuitive, a lot of time that I noticed, especially in the Western world, if you like talking to people, talking to spirit, or you're hearing voices, a lot of time with mental illness, the voices can be hostile. They're not gonna be the one giving you advice. Yeah, you got it, go for it.
Okay.
Most of the time, the voice usually negative. They usually turning you toward more paranoia. So it's more disruptive to your life. And when you're intuitive or you're a medium, most of the time when you talk to spirit, but there's like practice you can do to help like grounded so get back to the body and being grounded, then the voice kind of step back, or like the spirit not going to be so I'm not a medium, so I don't know what about your specific experience how it works, but most of the time with like intuitive, even if they cannot turn off 100%, they still have a good grip on what reality is, and they can be able to discern what is true and what's not. Like they will be able to look at the pencil and not see a pencil talking to them. So right. that's kind of line. But if also a lot of people have a lot of anxiety and stuff like that, first of all, we never learn how to deal with our emotions. We don't really learn how to develop emotional resilience. So that might give us just extra anxiety. And so we don't get trained on it. We don't get knowledge on it. And also empath tend to take on energies of others around them without knowing or subconsciously and without really realizing it. And they tend to develop more anxiety. And sometimes those energy are not theirs. They just don't recognize that it's not theirs. So so that can contribute to their symptoms, but not always gonna be full-blown anxiety. So it might show up very similar, but the root cause is quite different. They can tell if they like take a space or have some clearing or get back to their body, like grounding. If they have certain kind of practice that make them ground themselves in the moment, that can separate them to distinguish. But if you go to, this is from a medical perspective, if you go see a therapist and they, or a psychiatrist, and they immediately want you to prescribe you a bunch of benzo, you probably most likely want to get a second opinion, because that might be a bad egg in the medical field. Because benzo is always been studied and approved for very short-term treatment. It's not meant to be on it for life or for long treatment. It's mostly, let's say, in clinical study, most of the time benzo gonna work for like 6 to 8 weeks to control very acute symptoms, like let's say a panic attack, and you take it every day or something like that. It probably work for 8 weeks, but after 8 weeks, you're developing an addiction if you dependent on it. So and benzodiazepine are very hard to get off once you develop a taste for it. It's very hard. So but typically, if you go to see psychiatrists, the first line treatment for all mental illness is cognitive behavioral therapy. So they have to go through therapy as the first line. And drug is not the first line. Drug is always second line. So if anyone, you go into a psychiatrist, like, you're getting this, taking all this drug at the first line, you probably need a second opinion. Yeah, you probably need a second opinion.
That's right. And when you talk about the empaths, oh, go ahead, Mike.
Oh, I was going to say, it sounds like you're in the medical field. I'm glad we talked about a lot of that. For you, how is it to transition into your spiritual mentorship work after working in, the more conventional Western medicine fields? Like, do you have a ritual, or do you have a like a set time or a place that you prepare yourself for the shift for your day? Because your day seems very varied.
Yeah.
My day is very hectic, and no day is alike. So luckily, I'm very lucky to not be an empath. So I don't have the tendency to pick up on other energy. So that's been very helpful. And with, I guess after my inner healing journey, I have developed a good boundary. So, so if I don't have a ritual exactly to separate, like once I get off work and it's done, like it's very clear energy. So when it's off work, then it's done. So I don't have to do anything. But that's the beauty. Like when you do the work, then you develop enough of the strong sense of yourself and this confidence that you have this good boundary, very strong boundary that also help with energetic. So like once you're off, then you're off. You don't have to do anything. You just be yourself, and you can do whatever you
just
want.
relax. You just
Yeah,
relax.
just
and come
relax, do
home.
whatever you want.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't need
awesome.
anything to transition. They just switch like that. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I just want to comment on one of the things you mentioned, because I have a very strong spiritual perspective about it from the mediumship work that I do. Basically, let's say there's an empath, right, who exists. They grew up in an alcoholic household. Their family was an alcoholic. They took on all that, absorbed all that energy because their intuition is high, because they constantly had to like fend off that energy. Then they go and marry an alcoholic, right, to take care. That's usually kind of like the pattern. So the person is then in a situation day to day where they're picking up all that stuff. Now, from the mediumship perspective, okay, usually if someone's in the late stage of alcoholism, spirits and spirits don't mix. It opens up a portal in my world where negative spirits are surrounding that person, because the alcohol creates a portal for the spirits to actually jump in and the people that have passed of that addiction come in and are able to re-experience getting drunk or high again within that facility. So that empath is not only dealing with the energy of the active alcoholic. This is kind of just like something that could happen. They're also dealing with the people on the other side that are preying on the alcoholic. So that can really lend that empath to a deep depression or anxiety or feeling hopeless. And then they're the one who ends up going to that psychiatrist or whatever and getting on medication, right? So then that dulls their intuitive senses. So that seems like kind of like a hopeless situation for somebody like that to deal with. And being who you are, would this be kind of somebody, knowing that you're a coach, knowing that you do this transformational work, would you be able to help somebody like this out of that hole?
Not in the beginning. So in order to work with me, first they need to develop a level of awareness to first be aware of their situations and their emotion and their behavior. And the situation that you describe, they might not be aware yet.
Right.
That so in order to get out of that, first they have to seek help. They have to recognize red flag that this is the toxic relationship and they do not need to be in it. Any persons who want to go deeper into personal growth, they first need the basic level of survival. So they have to make sure they are safe, they have space, then they can have room to breathe and to grow. So if you're in just a toxic environment, your first priority is to get out and to get to a safe space. So after that, then you're gonna have, room to breathe and room to clear out all that toxic part and room to grow. But before that, then they probably need other help like hotlines or basically have to break away from the situations because it is a pattern. It is a pattern, and it's really need to take that leap of courage and to seek out help to get out.
That's
but
what
first
we're missing. We're missing that middleman. We're missing that person to give them the awareness, because they think, oh, I'm the empath. Everyone else is drinking and using and they're the problem. I'm the one that needs to fix them. I don't have the problem. Everybody around me is the problem. So I have a lot of clients in this situation and they don't think they have to fix themselves. So they don't have that awareness.
Yeah. So that is the, I guess that's the uphill battle that all of us, intuitive and healer, all of us will have to educate. And this information should be available for free, which is you need to be at a, survive and get this safe space. Safety is the most important quality in or area, especially in relationship and in your environment. If you don't feel safe around someone, regardless of what problem it is, whether they're dealing with, alcoholic or addictions, you probably, if you don't feel safe in that situation, you're not in the position to take care or helping anybody else. You need to get yourself out of that situation first. And then after you help yourself, then you can think of helping other people. If not, you are at the risk of not harming yourself, but harming other people, like children.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm curious, Dr. Wood, what are some examples of people that commonly go to you? Is it usually relationship issues or wanting to have a breakthrough? Who isn't a good place to meet with you?
So it's kind of funny. Most of my clients that came to me when they at the either divorce or at the end of the relationship, that's when they already know what's going on and they tired of this pattern, and that's when they come to me, and that's when we unravel the pattern of their whole life, starting out with their most intimate relationship and then spreading out to other relationships like family and everything else, and then ultimately tracing back to the relationship with themselves, and then to transform their life from that original pattern to change it. So typically when they come to me is what toward that transition in life, after a major breakup, typically after a major breakup or divorce, or at the end of the relationship. Not typically during a break of their career, because for career, there is, no matter how, I guess, no matter how invested we are in our career, there is also a little bit objective um, view that we can step away from our career. Like, that
Hmm.
it's our skill, it's our talent. But in relationship, we inevitably gonna show a lot of our sides and not all of them pretty. We can show our quirky side, our bad side, and all that stuff. So all of that come out. So that's why the pain during that kind of transition is much more significant and much more painful at the end of the relationship rather than at the end of a career or a job. So that's when people most come to me, and that's when they realize that they have a pattern and they want to break it. So that's where we work. And once they work through that, not only their relationship change, but their career also change. So most people have with me
Oh,
after that,
wow.
is they experience what in the tarot called the tower, where everything
Yeah.
crashing down.
Oh, yeah.
So
Exactly.
Gotta
it's
jump
not,
out.
Yeah.
it's not a very pleasant experience, but it's necessary. Like if you want a new life, you have to be willing for your own life to fall away. Now, if you want to do the slow path, which is, you can, then it chip away slowly. But when you in like a fast transformation, when you work with a coach or a mentor, you you kind of like your learning get augmented, like gets accelerated. So then it become a tower, like everything just crashing down at once. So what my clients have to be experienced is, so not only their major relationship breaking up, a lot of their friends kind of like friendship also broken away, a lot of ripped apart with their family member, and then they either quit their job or also they got laid off or something like that, and then eventually they it's like I have, one of my former clients, he literally was at the end of the divorce. And at that point, when he worked with me, at the end of the divorce, after that, he lost his house during the divorce. He lost his dog in the divorce. He lost his job in the divorce. He lost everything. So everything is completely upside down. But then, like maybe a year later, or maybe at the end of the year, he met the love of his life. He got his dream job, and now he just invited me to his second child birthday.
Oh my goodness.
So
Well,
it
Wow.
can, the transformation can be very quick, but you
Yeah.
have to be willing for it. There's not going to be sunshine and rainbow. You have to go through pain.
You got to
have
do
to
the
go
work.
through, you
That's
have to go through the
right. That's
work,
right.
and it's not going to be always comfortable. It's actually
That's right. Well,
can be
thanks.
painful.
Thank you for explaining all that to us. We are already at the 45-minute mark, and I know we have a lot of things we still want to do with you. And so I know we have the 3 talking points, but we also have your intuitive card deck. And I just want to give you the choice of what to do because we have to bring Scott on in a little bit. But I think I would love to see your cards and talk about that if you want
Yeah.
to, if you want to go through the tips. Like we just probably have to move it along just a little quicker, but it's up to you how you would like to, where you would like to proceed.
Yes, we can go through the card. It's fine, especially now with the cosmic portal open.
Yeah.
And but I do want to say that the tarot is always a tool. So it's a great reflective tool for people to get in touch more with their subconsciousness, to reflect more on their situations, journaling on their answer and their emotions. But don't base your decision on a card, because the future is always fluid and you the one that writing it. So don't
That's
ever
right.
base your major decision or even tiny decision,
Yeah.
I think when in my past life, I mean, not my past life, in the last decade, when I was a professional tarot reader, I have people like, should I pick a red card or a black card? Like, to pick a card, not like,
Yeah.
why do you need a card to say that to you? Look at your finances, look at your common sense, like use your critical thinking. Don't just turn it off. So you always need
That's
your
right.
critical thinking. So.
Do you want to pick a card for somebody in the audience, in our listening audience, or did you say you had some intuitive feelings prior to the show? It's kind of like the direction you feel your flow is going. If you feel like you want to, say something about one of us, or if you feel you see somebody in the chat, in the comments that you're kind of drawn to, or if anyone in the comments out there, if you guys want to put up a question, we can't definitely get to everyone, but if you want to put up a question for Dr. Tiffany to pull a card, that's up to you. So we'll wait for the chat to come through. But I know,
let's see some comments. Pick me. Type pick me if you want to get picked.
So
just give us a question.
I cannot see the comments on my end. So if you want, you guys can pick a few people, and I can pick a card or two. And right now I have two decks. This is my workhorse deck that I always use for other people. Is the Lounnngennnities Classic Tarot deck. This is my
Hey,
right
Tiffany, just look on your right side. Tiffany, look on the right side of the screen. It says comments, banners, private chat. Do you see this on the right hand side?
Yes.
Do you see where it says comments?
I see the comment now.
Click on
All
that.
right.
Okay. Now, if you want a question answered, you need to ask a question in the comments. Don't just say pick me. Have a question. Okay.
Have a question.
She needs to go have a question. So Angela, Valerie, put your question in. Okay. Just not
Angela volunteers as tribute, which is that's a reference to
Hunger Games.
The Mockingbird series. Yes, the Hunger Games.
The Hunger Games, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll wait about 30 more seconds, get a couple. Now, don't ask a predictive question. That's what Tiffany and I are on the same level with this, okay? We're not here to predict. What we do as intuitives and the way we work is very much similar, is ask about the energies around your love life, around your career, different options. You are in charge of, the path that you take. We can tell you the energies that we feel around that and give you the details. But there is no like psychic. Yeah, you could find a new love, but it may be along your same cycle that you're going through.
The best question you can ask me now is, let's say you want to hear a message regarding, let's say, career or regarding love. So that's got to be your question. So I can give you a message toward whatever. And another new deck that I haven't used to read. So anyway, you want to volunteer a tribute. This is the
cool.
The Spacious Tarot, which have no humans, and it's considered like an immersive tarot deck, that you more reflective. You look at it and you more like journaling and stuff like that. So,
okay, Tiffany, you have 3 questions. Lisa, Angela, and Valerie so far, and whatever you're drawn to, feel free to start with, and we'll put it up on the screen for you as well.
All right. Angela question is totally out of my expertise, so that's probably more for you as a medium. So I won't be able to answer Angela.
Okay. Which one are you drawn to?
We also have Michael
Tiffany?
chiming in.
Michael also.
Okay. Well, first I'm going to do Valerie.
Okay. Valerie asks, will my agent sell my novel? Or we could take that question, because it's not predictive, and say, what are the energies around my novel being sold? And the agent that I have, what are the current energies and what's the guidance?
All right, let's try that.
And so, Tiffany, can you talk us through what you're doing? I see that you're mixing the cards, you're shuffling them. Are you holding the the question in your field as you do it. Like I know when I picked tarot cards, actually, Marissa, you were the one who was sort of getting me used to that. You said, just use whatever sensory you have. So I feel like a tingle on a certain card. It feels like it's calling to me. But when you have to pick a lot of cards, at some point it becomes a little random. So do you have a certain style of how you know when it's the right card or how you pick it?
So I shuffle my card when I thinking of a person name and their question or around the questions, and then I fan them out and I just pick randomly 3 cards typically. I don't feel any tingling or anything. I just pick randomly. And that's usually how it go for me. Okay, so for Valerie,
And then there's the interpretation.
Yes, and then the interpretation. So the first card I get, so I picked 3 cards for each question. So for Valerie, the first one is Page of Pentacle. Okay, and second one is 2 of Pentacle, and the last one is 2 of Swords. So you are in a lot of like the transitions regarding your novel. I'd probably say you have done a lot of legwork, but there's a lot more to do. So Page is like at the very beginning of the journey of your selling your novel. So you probably nowhere near that yet. Need to the end goal. You need more work on it. 2 of Pentacle means there's gonna be more than one option. So your agent, yes, but you also need to do more research work. Don't just trust your agent to do every legwork. They might not look at all the options. So you might want to look at all the options, and you might have to do 2 things at once. Maybe either, I don't know, editing and promoting or something. Like probably have to do 2 things at once, and avoid making a major decision right now when you don't have all the cards on the table. You don't have all your information yet. So consider all your options before you make a major decision. And when you make the decisions, the 2 of Swords, don't let sometimes when we about to make a major decision, we are fueled by our emotion, by our anxiety, by our worry too much. Then the decision might not be good for us. So use your critical thinking also. Make like a pro and con list or something. So make sure you at a grounded, balanced place, calm mind before you make that major decision. But you have some more legwork to do before you get to that point. All right.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm picking up too, and just to piggyback off of you, it seems like a little bit of tunnel vision with you, Valerie, that you kind of like see the A to B or A to Z or whatever, and how you want it to go. And yet I feel that if you just open up your vision a little bit, your field of vision, I feel like there are so many other options, but it seems like you're very streamlined of, I want it this way. I want it to progress this way. I want to sell it this way, but I feel like it's limiting you. And I feel like if you just expanded your horizon, like, Tiffany was talking about, and open those windows on the side and see what comes in. I think some interesting things that you might not be thinking of and interesting directions might be just right there when you open that window. They're right there, and just open the shades. You might see something different. All right, great. Valerie says to you, Tiffany, that feels so right to me. Great advice. Thank you so much. And she's saying that's so true. So I'm glad we were able to help her tonight. Do you want to take another one, or do you feel like that was good for you for tonight?
I can do Michael Roof is the next one that I pulled already.
Okay.
So this one, I pulled also 3 cards. So first is 2 of Cups.
Can you just hold it? I love seeing the artwork on the cards. And which deck is this? How did you discover the deck?
So one of my good friends is Barbara Moore, and this is one of her decks. This is Lounnngennnities Classic Tarot. It is kind of a clone of the Rider-Waite-Smith, but it have brighter color. And the illustration was redo, so it's similar to that style, but it's redo, so it's more clear with the symbolism instead of sometimes the detail in the original Rider-Waite-Smith. It's just so tiny, and maybe it's my age, but I need like something like bigger, better, easier to see. So that's why I picked the deck. So
Oh, that's really a nice deck. It's beautiful.
I love that. And then the second card is Three of Wands.
Okay.
Wow, that's intense.
And the
It's
last
intense,
one,
but he's overlooking a cliff too, so it could be. Oh, what's
Yeah.
this?
yeah, last one is
The Fool. Okay.
So Michael, this look very nice with your house selling. I cannot tell you the timing, but it seems to be soon. And Two of Cups means you gotta be really connecting either with the realtor or the buyer. So there needs to be some connection to be made, and you might have some offer to coming in, and you'll be basically like taking your pick. The Fool is really being like, when I say it's soon, because the Fool is one of the major arcana, and when it show up, like you really go into a new chapter, and sometimes unknowing, but it could be great. Keep your optimism up. So I guess just make sure you make a good connections, make sure they understand what you're looking for, and selling from your heart, and it's gonna be soon. So
Awesome. And
A new
I don't know why.
adventure.
I don't know why, but I keep hearing Florida, and I don't know why. I don't know if you're taking a trip
Wow.
to
I'm
Florida,
from
Michael.
Florida.
Oh, you're from Florida. Okay.
I'm from
But-
Florida, so
So I keep hearing Florida, Florida, Florida. So maybe you're taking a trip, Michael. I don't know what's going on, but we'll see. Thank you so much, Tiffany. I want to tell people how to get in touch with you because we have to bring Scott on to announce the winners and wrap up the show. But I could have you on doing this all night. Seriously, it was awesome. So if you guys want to connect with Tiffany, please go to her website, spunkyspiritualist.com/blog. She writes a blog. I find you fascinating, Tiffany. Absolutely fascinating. And you can actually follow her on Facebook, which I'm going to do as soon as I get off. Spunky Spiritualist. And she does one-on-one coaching, and she offers for people in transition, like you said, for people who want to like finally make that jump into their ideal life and want to do that work. You've done it, you've been through it, and that's all. Like as long as somebody's been through it, you can guide somebody else through it. And I love your work. I think it's amazing, and I could interview you for another 2 hours. So thank you so much for being with us. And I guess Michael is going to Florida in February. Okay, you'll have a good trip there. You might find maybe a second vacation property. Something about real estate's coming up. All right, so I can't wait, without further ado, to bring Scott on to announce our winners. And I'm going to keep you on, Tiffany, if that's okay with you.
yeah, sure.
We're gonna have a party at the lounge with a lot of people.
Hi, Tiffany.
I know.
Hi, Scott.
Yes. So Scott, are you ready to announce these winners?
Oh, sure. I was just going to say that was super interesting. The questions, your topics, I'm a sponge for this kind of stuff. So I really appreciate the conversation you had, and especially the question you had about, are sensitive people mentally ill? That's a question that a lot of us suffer with over the course of our lifetimes, that people just don't understand what we're perceiving or what the perceptions are. So they judge people in a certain way and try to put people in a box. And then if they get fragmented, they can end up homeless. And then we see that, here a lot in New York City, that people are having conversations with something or someone that may not be visible to the human eye. So I just found a really interesting conversation. So thank you. Yes, the winners. Thanks again for everyone who left their resource moments. As Michael said, a lot of beaches. But
I'm going to put you in a little. It's not letting. Hold on.
A lot of people mentioned beaches. Anything that stayed calm. And those resource moments, it's a resource, meaning you can use it as a resource for yourself. In those moments when you're feeling agitated and you want to bring some calm to yourself, you can bring your imagination and your nervous system back to what it felt like to be in that resource moment and use it for yourself. So that was the point of that exercise. So yes, the winners are, and I don't have my glasses on. So Michael, you have the names also. The first one was Auntie M.
Yep, Auntie M, and her resource moment was Fiji. There's a whole bunch of beaches. Read about people on a lake. There was always sand. Sometimes there were sounds, but this was Fiji as a specific beach. So Annie M, you are a winner of a free session with Scott Clover.
Great.
Yay! Annie M, are you still here? I know she was on at the beginning of the show. I hope she's still here. But I know Annie M, she's one of our Manifesting with Marisa students. She's in our course.
Great. Wow.
And she is going to be so excited.
And the second person is Helen L. Her last name initial L, like Lima.
Yay, Helen!
Yay, Helen! So,
And her resource moment was painting.
Pardon me?
Painting was her resource moment.
Oh yeah, which was great because I was talking to a friend who was an artist at the time, and he definitely nodded. Oh yeah, that's a resource moment for me when I paint. Yeah, it takes me somewhere else and lets my body change its state, which is nice for us. It's like turning your cell phone off every once in a while. How many of us leave our cell phones running 7, 8, 10, 12 days in a row without ever shutting it off once? A lot of us do that to our nervous systems, or we do that if we're a parent or if we have a lot occupying our time. So that's just a moment. That resource moment is just a way for you to take a little mini vacation in your nervous system. So thanks, everybody.
Aniem is here.
Annie,
She's
I'm so excited.
Yes, but
Great.
she's probably meant to write something else and it didn't come through. A little probably nervous is what she was going to say, but she's very excited. Aniem, awesome. We congratulate you. Helen will probably watch the replay, but she's going to be so excited also.
Great.
So thanks.
Well, thanks
Thank
again,
you so
Tiffany.
much.
Thank you.
Hey.
All
Bye.
right. Okay, so we are going to bring everybody back on, put on a little music. And Maine, are you out there? Okay. I'm going to have Maine come up because she signs people off. So, yes, thank you, Tiffany. I definitely want to have everybody on again. We love having people on the lounge. The thing is with the lounge, you don't come on just once. As Scott and Mike already know, I'm like, Mike, yeah, you emailed me. And Aniem, hold on one second. A little apprehension, but really looking forward to this amazing session. So what can somebody do if they book a session with you, Scott, and they're a little nervous? Is that a good thing, a bad thing, indifferent, or it doesn't matter?
Well, I think it's normal, especially with something that, as you've heard of from your friend or you've heard word of mouth. I think it's normal to make yourself vulnerable to someone who essentially is saying that they can perceive your energies in a different way. And, as Brene Brown will tell you, that vulnerability becomes your greatest strength. So if you lean into the process, I think it leans back for you, supports you.
Awesome.
Sounds like it's work and it's fun.
Yes. I think so. It is for me.
Just like the lounge. No, just kidding. The lounge is only fun.
Okay. All right. Well, Ming, come on and sign people off. Thanks, everybody. All right. Here's Ming. Hey, Ming.
Hi.
Right. I mean, give us your sign offs.
So, I've got a little idea, Mom.
Okay, what's up?
So, I will pick people from the chat, and then I will draw a picture for them.
Oh my goodness! So you're gonna pick a winner, and then you're gonna draw a picture.
So people that didn't write in the chat, make sure to write in the chat right now,
Okay.
so I could pick you.
Okay. She wants to do a little contest for herself. All right. If you would like a picture, and she did this for one of my clients about 2 weeks ago. My client printed it out and framed it. It was amazing because my client was having a bad day. She drew a picture for her, and it was amazing. She just made her feel so much better.
And
so,
did you know that I put on makeup?
Did you put on makeup? Okay. All right. So let's go through our list. Who do you want to say bye to?
Okay. So first, I'm gonna pick the winners.
Okay. So how many pictures are you gonna draw?
Can you get a notebook and write the winners down?
Okay. Yes, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So.
We're seeing the comments pouring in.
So this
a
is
lot of
great
volunteers
time
want
to
pictures.
write in the
Okay.
chat. Well,
Lojo wants a picture. Kim would like a picture. Okay. So
get a notebook.
Okay. Are you taking over hosting the show? Is that what you did? Okay. So
And then you deliver it to people.
Okay, I'll deliver it. So you pick out
You can
3
put it in
people to get a
Facebook
picture.
comments.
Yeah, you can put it in the Facebook. I'll read them on the Facebook comments. Who would you like to win?
So the first winner is Angela Julia.
Okay, Angela Julia. You're gonna get a picture from Ming. Okay, who else?
Can you go up?
This is it. This is all I have.
These are the
This comes with-
volunteers.
These are, yeah. And this, Kim wants a picture. Lojo wants a picture. Megan. Oh my God. Lisa, Megan.
Lo J. Matthews. Good job.
Okay, Lojo.
You are the winner.
Lojo gets a picture. And this comes with energy from the, genetic line of intuition. So, and Kim would like a picture. Would you like to do one for her?
And
Well, we have to give Kim a picture because she wants one.
okay. Kim Marisa Spencer.
Okay. Great. So we have 3 winners.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thanks, Ming.
Good job. Now I'm going to sign people off.
Okay. Go ahead.
So, Lo J. Matthews, thank you for coming. And Angela Julia, thank you for coming. Kim Everessa Spencer, thank you for coming. Megan Hogan, thank you for coming. And then Lisa Gardner, thank you for coming. And then can you go up?
Yeah.
Then Maria Calvert, thank you for coming to the show. Auntie M, thank you for coming. And then go up. Michael Rofe, thank you for coming. And then Valerie Jane, thank you for coming.
Great.
Go up.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you, Ming. Give everybody a round of applause. We're
Good
excited.
job to the winners.
Good job to all the winners. We got prizes we didn't even know we had. Thank you, Scott Clover. Thank you, Mike, the intuitive technologist. Thank you, Dr. Tiffany Nguyen. We would love to continue
Thank
this
you,
for
Dr.
2 more
Tiffany.
hours. We just can't. Yes. Thank you, guys, and we will see you next week on the lounge. Have a great weekend.
Bye.